all of the stream of reports and guidance that we produced, trying to push governments and persuade governments to administration. But it's increasingly big. For a long time, the only which LGBTQ rights were looked at was in the context of HIV. UNAIDS and UNDP did a lot of groundwork. Today, UNDP is looking at this issue in terms of other processes. UNHCR has some kind of means of gay or transgender asylum seekers. You've got UN Women, position as well, the International Labour Organization, workplace discrimination, as well as constitute of discrimination against us. So I think now there's another big change that's happened. And in September this year, we had a UN first. It was the first ever statement issued by 12 UN agencies committing themselves to work in their own programmatic areas of discrimination against women. So that is, I think, all been a positive change. And what's been happening at the same time is on the political level, a big shift. You know, the first time in 2005, the first time that a joint statement was circulated to achieve that PPN, it was circulated by law, and it simply asked countries to commit themselves to opposing violence against LGBT people and related to women's violations. They got 30 states on this discussion. There's mostly European countries, a few Latin American countries. Over the years, successive stages have been circulated. So we got to 2011, and 85 countries, aside from committed themselves to work for end to discrimination and violence against LGBT. Now, the good thing is that now we don't need joint statements. We've had, for the first time, UN resolutions adopted. The first one, the Human Rights Council, was adopted on a very thin margin, but it was nevertheless passed the majority mark, and it was adopted and set in train the first formal UN implemented abuses against LGBT. That was followed in 2014 by a subsequent resolution of the Human Rights Council adopted much bigger mark. 25 in favor, 14 against, with 7 abstentions, votes in every region of the world. Now, that shift in the political landscape is important because it means for the first time you have a substantial number of countries, almost the majority of countries, have agendas that be pushing for more protections for the rights of LGBT. And that changes the political dynamics. It means that for the first time these issues can come up to the political discussion. And the coalition of countries that are pushing this, of which the US is a member, it wasn't until 2009, but it is now very much a leading. That coalition is bigger, it's stronger, it's much more diverse. Now, the studies that we've done as a result of these resolutions paint a very graphic picture. We've got a glimpse of these issues in a short video that I just watched. We're not talking about frivolous things, we're talking about these being brutally attacked, sexual violence, rape, torture, and at the same time, very deep-set discriminatory attitudes that lead people to be treated unfairly, being bullied in schools, kicked out of schools, treated unfairly at work, so these are serious human rights. But for the first time, they are actually being recognized as such, and we it's getting countries to take seriously. The other area where we focus is restrictions on the ability to actually do that, to speak out. And in many countries, the governments take measures to stop LGBT organizations from existing, registering LGBT meetings from happening. LGBT pride marches and public events are taking place. And you see the recent legislation introduced in 2 countries, for example, Russia, that tries to crack down freedom of expression. I think, overall, this is an area where we've seen enormous progress and some setbacks. And I work on a whole range of other human rights issues, including disability, racism, rights of elderly persons, rights of children, migrants, and there's a lot happening on all these lines, but there is no area where we have seen so many positive steps taken in so many countries in such a short period of time. It's also true, and there's no issue that I work on, where we've seen so much resistance and so much well-organized and well-funded opposition. But overall, the balance is very much in favor of progress. I think if you look back over the last 20 years, 40 countries, more than 40 countries, 44 countries have decriminalized homosexuality, and more than 60 have put in place laws that protect LGBT people from discrimination, often publicly, sometimes more abroad. The United States is not yet one of those countries, but we continue to talk to the US. But the big story in the last few years has, of course, been marriage and relationships, and that has swept whole parts of the world. Now, marriage between same-sex couples is legally recognized in 2 countries, civil unions in a dozen more. And just in the last 12 months, marriage equality has come into force in Scotland, Luxembourg, Ireland, Greenland, in parts of Mexico, and of course across the United States. Sometimes the speed at which the barriers are falling is my job. In the last 4 weeks alone, legalized unions. Colombia legalized adoption by same-sex couples. In Thailand, banning discrimination against members of the LGBT community. In India, we've had new laws against discrimination at the convention level, but also breakthroughs by trans activists, trans fans of the trans community, pointing police inspectors, school inspectors. In Japan, 2 years ago, recognizing same-sex actors. In Taiwan, the leading contender for the presidency, next in January's presidential elections, came out in favor of same-sex marriage. It's literally true that every day something positive happens. And that's something that I think is incredibly encouraging at this moment, 5 years ago. But what's happening, I think, in this country with the transgender movement is especially interesting, because for years, the transgender movement was kind of in the shadows of the struggle with gay relationships and HIV struggle in the 80s. And now there's a far more visibility of transgender issues, far more discussion of transgender issues, and a real moment where we're seeing, I think, public consciousness of what these issues are. And that is something that I think we're seeing more and more in some countries. So, overall, I think millions and millions of LGBT people. The world is fairer, it's freer, and it's better than it was. That's true from Argentina to India, to Malta, to the Netherlands, and to the East Country. But it's also true that we've seen pushback, and I think that's part of the consequence of this big together and push change. There is resistance, there is hostility. And we see that at the UN, we see it at the national. And you'll all be aware, I'm sure, of the very retrograde steps taken by some countries. Uganda, which introduced very draconian laws, which were courts. Nigeria, Gambia, all of which have enacted very repressive laws. Russia, with its law that prevents anyone from publicly talking about homosexuality in a way they're only allowed to talk publicly about homosexuality. You can talk about it derogatory, demeaning, or negative. And a very similar law on the books in Kyrgyzstan, which has already passed 2 readings in Kyrgyzstan Parliament. And we've seen which we get reports of, an uptick in arrests of gay men in some countries, in Cameroon, for example, in Nigeria, and in Uganda, in Egypt, where the authorities round up and use members of the gay community as a scapegoat for their own political reasons. And that's what I just want to talk about briefly now, which is if this is a backlash, I'm not convinced that it's all then it is patchy, it's localized, it's driven mostly by politics. It is, in most cases, politically using them as scapegoats, as a distraction, real problem. demonstrations. And it's closer an anti-West Western. So here, these are countries portraying homosexuality as a horror themselves as kind of standing up defenders of local culture, local customs. In a way, some of this is unavoidable because it's a product of great visibility. It's a product of the problems. It's a product of the fact that in these countries, the LGBT communities themselves are LGBT activists and vocal, and they're organized. And as they push for changes, they assert their rights for recognition. There is a counter-reaction. So in a way, the fact that this is generating all this turbulence is positive, but it is also dangerous. Well, it's a familiar pattern. It should be a familiar pattern. Americans, it's true. We remember a decade ago when state after state was passing bans against same-sex marriage. There was a big push then by the then president to try to encourage sure against homosexual agenda. In the country, the UK, I remember when Margaret Thatcher was Prime Minister, and she introduced a law humorously similar to the law in Russia, banning propaganda, so-called propaganda of homosexuality, preventing any school in Britain from carrying information about homosexuality in its library, and preventing teachers in any school same-sex relationships in case so children can get it. So in these cases, see this kind of counter-reaction, and in legislation approved to be at last gasp before the end of the month. I think we are seeing this play out. This is a good change. I'm going to talk finally about a campaign which the UN launched, and which is the counterpart to all of the diplomatic and political work that we goes on talking to governments, trying to bring violations of human rights to the attention of governments. There is also a bigger task on longer term, which is that if you want you have to change attitudes towards LGBT, and it is that line, which in the end only members of the community on the ground in their own countries are really vital. But when the UN can help legitimize and reinforce the work that the idea for this campaign was born in a discussion with an activist called Frank Kisha, who some of you may have followed in Uganda, a very softly spoken, very courageous young man who has been vilified in his own country but continues to talk about these issues. He came to the UN and he listened to the UN give a barnstorming speech about the importance of LGBT. It's not often you hear the word fact in a barnstorming speech in some sense, but he's passionate about this issue. He's spoken very strongly. And afterwards, Frank came up and said, I just wish that we could take this to people. I wish that they could hear the Secretary General of the United Nations speaking to me. I wish they knew how empowering that would be for us if we could have this decision. And this was really the kind of genesis of this idea. We wanted to create a campaign that would take this message to the world, that would let the world know when the UN stood on these issues, and in the process empower those activists, and also to tell them, even if they're feeling very isolated, very marginalized, and shunned, and explain that the UN world stands with them. So it's a UN brand appeal, which I think is very important in terms of the legitimacy of the an appeal for respect for recognition for the rights of LGBT. And its premise is that you have to change attitudes, you have to get to those answers. Tell students, you have to raise these awareness, and you have to challenge negative stereotypes. In the end, they'll get people issues. Where there's still very much to do. There's very little public conversation on this. So campaign been going for 2 years. I encourage you all to find out more about it. We've got some propaganda and to take behind this, please help yourself. A stream of original content, videos and fact sheets, all the material on social media, which goes out through the main UN channels, by a number of celebrities. But it also works because it's not just an online campaign, it also exists. Events taking place in countries right around the world, generating a traditional radio music. One of the challenges that we have is it's a challenge I think with any campaign that's trying to touch people with an issue that is seen as sensitive culturally, is how to find a way to talk about this that has resonance in so many different cultural contexts. We can have discussions here, and it will connect with people, perhaps, but it will we have the same conversation here in cities. Johannesburg, Delhi, or Rio. And so I'm going to end with a video that we created, which says my father was was getting to know firstly one of our celebrity equality champions for this campaign, actress Selena Jacobs, who's Miss India in India, absolutely wonderful, who's dedicated her life to this cause. She helped us to make a video, Bollywood music video, which developed all sorts of skills that I never thought of, and certainly never learned in school. And the result of this video is called The Welcome, and it has become the most watched video that the UN has ever produced. So I'm going to end the video with the Welcome.
some questions. So, I can call on people. So it's really interesting speech, and I'm sure we have places where we'd like to do more. So does anyone have any questions?
So I might have missed this, but why do you think that there's been so much positive momentum in the LGBT movement rather than in many other human rights movements globally?
That's a good question. I mean, I think a number of things have come together at the same time. And in each country, the combination of causal factors. We're actually doing an event next week with Latin American countries, where Latin America is seeing huge progress. In fact, arguably faster than the region we're doing in the United States. Latin America now leads the world as the gold standard laws in many of those countries when it comes to both sexual orientation and identity protections. But in each of those countries in Latin America, it's been different. Some has been driven personally through the courts, some by parliaments, through political leadership. Uruguay had a really interesting example where political leadership, but also the social movements, and where the tax voting has been the kind of alliance between the students, women's rights movement, the LGBTI movement, and the trade unions and other social movements. It's not the ideal answer to say each country, it's a different set of factors, but it is typically a combination of those things that I've just mentioned. The other thing that's absolutely, and it's hard to say why it's happening, why it's gathering pace, absolutely determining factor in many ways. Most is people coming out. People coming out is the number one driver, because when people become known and their stories become known, when the community is humanized, people's attitudes change much more quickly. It's more important even than education. Of course, people feel more able to come out, more people come out when they feel more safe to do so. So, there are countries where threshold and people and no one can talk about it, and it's very difficult to make change when it's still this kind of horrible idea that no one knows anyone who's gay or transgender. But when that begins to change, everything moves quite quickly.
Hi, my name is Kevin. I'm a sophomore person, and I was just wondering if you think the Free and Equal campaign and also the push by the UN for LGBT rights somehow unintentionally emphasizes the archetype of the global gay. That is the type of person who's gay, who goes clubbing and has like many girlfriends. Who likes to party, all of those things, and displaces gay culture within different nations.
I don't think we're doing that, to be honest, because I think we created a campaign to combat negative stereotypes. That is a stereotype. Our challenge is to tell the story in many different ways and to have people see the world through the eyes of the LGBT community, but not only through their eyes, but through the eyes of their mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters and sons and daughters. There's a real danger in the global gay is kind of projected in many countries. In many countries, it would be a very negative image, which would reinforce so I think you're absolutely spot on to recognize that that's a risk. I think it's maybe more of a risk than some of the American campaigns that take abroad. But I don't think I think it's something that we're conscious of. I don't think that the UN so if you find anything on our website.
No, I mean, I was just wondering.
Do you have any experience working with countries that are more specifically unfriendly to LGBTQ people? And if so, like, how has your experience like overcoming the challenges that you face in those situations?
Yes. This is one of the challenges of working on human rights. You're constantly countries resist the recommendations of the in some ways, working on human rights in the UN is by definition mission impossible, because we're trying to hold states to account, trying to get states to do things to protect them. And yet, the UN is run by states. It's a house of states. So there's an inherent tension. But our role, like the Human Rights Office, is an independent office of the UN. And we support these independent mechanisms that try to do exactly that. And we have, on this issue, there are a number of countries that have made it very clear, very publicly, that they're absolutely opposed to this work and to the message that we're bringing. And it is very, very hard to get people to engage in the conversation. There are certain countries where you have to, for each country, have a strategy. And maybe in some of these countries, the best we can do is to remain vigilant and to try to protect the activists on the ground who are most exposed. And when one of them is wrapped up in prison to intervene, to try to make sure that the country concerned, the authorities know that the UN is watching, the UN is doing and to use all of the means at our disposal to try and protect a space of the local community. And in the end, the long-term change will come from within. It must be that the community is protected because of grows its strength and is able to assert its claims. And we have to try to keep them safe while they try to do that. So yeah, it's constantly difficult. You'll notice that I'm not mentioning names, but it's not just because I'm trying to find, it's also because there are so many, there are where it's very difficult. We keep doing even if they don't listen.
So you mentioned like kind of challenge in working with countries to advance LGBT rights, like the challenge to balance the effective queer disability versus like just basic survival and like how it's unsafe for people to come out in situations. So just I'm curious, like just campaign work on other intersections of like to you see or other campaigns in the UN, but working in other countries to kind of making it more safe space before you work on visibility. Or is it, so far has it been just like a
yeah, well, I mean, in terms of UN human rights, there are very few. The pre campaign was an experiment. It was the first time that the UN has ever done human rights campaign. Now we have how we just yeah, so that could be explored. But what I am conscious of is that it's not we'll do a global campaign to 38,000 people, and we'll create content that is more tailored. Or actually next week I'm watching a campaign video that's going to get lots of attention. But there are countries where it isn't right to have a big loud global campaign or regional campaign, and there's no point in having a little bit inside, because having something that's visible and loud will so in those countries, we're actually looking now at a kind of secondary strategy, which is to do some basic message testing first. So some capacity for local LGBTQ organizations in those countries, strengthen basic comms and campaign skills, media messaging skills, so that they can begin to take on the negative stereotypes, the negative media messages that they're constantly facing. And that I think may be better than us just going to the country campaign. We can pull up the grassroots capacity to create local campaigns in the future. So that's how.
How have you dealt with evangelical views going from here, particularly to Uganda?
Evangelical.
Yes. Have you done anything to do in the US context or no?
No, we haven't really. We're aware of it, and it's an interesting separate discussion. Quite how important their influence has been, because I think sometimes it tends to be overstated. But it certainly has been. Talking about countries, most of them former British colonies, they have inherited these terrible laws from Queen Victoria, and now that these American spreading hate, this constant foreign very negative. But at the same time, there is a local constituency. So it's hard to say, there's receptivity. freedom of religion is absolutely national law and something the UN upholds, but there is a fine line between free speech and hate speech. And so I can't tell you the instances where we've gone in on this issue, where preachers have gone in and spread hate in other countries, but we are very vigilant to this issue of hate speech and very keen to do more work in this area, to identify how hate speech can be better policed here.
Any other questions? Well, thank you so much for coming. So it's great.
And on behalf of my Q&A board, I read this book. Yes.
Because I gave you a free.
Quickly here, so my name is Wade, I'm the Secretary General of UNA Georgetown, and we're so grateful to have you as a friend and a member of our community here. So to honor that, we have something to present to you as well. Certificate of honorary membership. Yes, you've been such a great help to our community, and we're here and hope that you can come back again. We have a UNA Georgetown kid for you, as you fell there, and then as a memory of your time here at Georgetown, a new Georgetown mug. We all, thank you very much. Thank you all very much for coming.
Really sat it down for a second. I'm thinking,